Okay, in today's session, let us continue the discussion of modeling of the physical systems. In that, in the previous session, you have already seen this classification. Okay, broadly, modeling can be done on the mechanical systems or electrical systems, because most of the systems which you come across in nature, what all we have designed, or the human beings are working on, what all we use, they are all based probably on mechanical systems or electrical systems. We use mechanical components or the electrical components in that system. Okay, that's why basically modeling of these two different systems is a must. And in turn, mechanical systems are further divided into either translational systems or rotational systems. And the third category which we are going to see is analogous systems. Okay, that we will discuss it later. In today's session, let us complete this mechanical system. In mechanical systems, both these topics we will cover. Okay. So you know what are mechanical systems? Any system in which the different interconnection of components, what we call for a system, which is needed, all they are all having mechanical components in it. So we will use the mechanical components. Most of you, I think, boys, when you open your what vehicle, you can see the mechanical parts and all. So you are familiar with those terms. But for girls, probably it's not so much familiar. So mechanical components, you can view it, the shaft, the rotation, the rotor, many things are there which are mechanical. uh, if you have done the mechanical engineering in the workshop part in the first year, probably you might have seen some of the components. So the interconnection of different mechanical components along with one applied force is called a mechanical system. So here major role is played by this force. So whatever these mechanical systems they work. So we will be taking account of the force applied here. Okay, that's why if you remember in the previous one of the sessions, I had told most of these systems, the modeling, we work either on the Kirchhoff's laws for electrical networks, we make use of voltage law and current law, or agar mechanical system hai so you will make use of Newton's second law. Okay, that's why force is important for us. Now you have already seen this classification. There are two. Okay, depending upon the motion of the systems, how the motion is present in the system, these mechanical systems are classified as either translational mechanical system or rotational. So what is translational? There is a conversion from one energy to the other energy, obviously. And these systems are those in which the motion takes place along a straight line. We call it linear motion. Okay, be it a what in any vehicle you can check. Yeah, you can give me some examples of translational systems. Rotational systems, they are those in which the motion is about a fixed axis, that is around, okay, circular in nature, and the center axis is fixed. Okay, probably a turbine, you can take the example. Rotational. For translational, you yourself give me one example. Let's see. Motion will be along the straight line, moving of some shaft or something like that. Okay, that is translational. So these two systems we will study. The study of these systems, basically whatever equations we derive for these two systems, they are mainly formulated based on the Newton's law of motion, that is your second law. Hope you remember this. This is very important for us. Force applied is it plays a very important role. Okay, so let's first study the translational mechanical system. So whenever we take any translational mechanical system, obviously the system will be having interconnection of mechanical components. Fine. So what we do in this system, broadly, we will make use of, we will take certain parameters into consideration, and we will tell that in the system these elements or these parameters are exist, ideal parameters exist. Okay, for translational there are three basic elements. Similarly for rotational also we will take account of three basic elements. Okay, for example, अगर आपके सिस्टम में कुछ स्प्रिंग स्ट्रक्चर है, स्प्रिंग बोले तो it means you are expanding some some this using the spring. if you are expanding, or by making use of your what pulley, you are lifting some load. Okay, something like this, कुछ JCB जैसा structure ऐसा रहता है, there will be a pulley here, and यहाँ पे assume करो कि एक बड़ा वाला load है. Okay, some big mass is there, so you require some spring or some, if this mass is connected to something, a spring. So ideally, this complete system, whatever is there, which we have considered, it will consist of, I'm talking about translational, three basic elements. Similarly, even for rotational also, we will consider three basic elements. Okay, let us see about the translational. Basically, for any of these two systems, Newton's law of motion is important for us. So what is this Newton's law of motion? You have studied this already. The algebraic sum of forces acting along a rigid body in a given direction is equal to the product of mass of the body and its acceleration in the same direction. So F is equal to ma, mass of the body and acceleration in the same direction. Okay, symbolically, the sum of the forces is equal to mass into acceleration. A is a of t, because at any instant of time the values may vary. So instantaneous values we are taking into consideration. Or mass is equal to, you know it already, what is the relationship between velocity and distance. So it is nothing but ds by dt. In our case, the distance we consider x. Okay, that's why if you see, velocity is dx by dt. So what is acceleration? Acceleration is nothing but differentiation of velocity. So dv by dt is acceleration. That's what I have exchanged, dv by dt. Or velocity is what? Velocity is dx by dt. So there is dv by dt and dx by dt. Two times differentiation will come. So m into dx d square by dt square of x of t. So this is Newton's law for translational mechanical systems. So it is important for us. From this equation, you know what we will do? We will consider one system. We will ideally tell these are the basic elements present in the system, and whatever force acts on that system is equal to the sum of these forces which are acting on that body, mass into acceleration. So we will make them equal. Okay, this is the concept. So let us see, for mechanical translational systems, we can model them by making use of three ideal components. As I said, first one is the first parameter or first element is the mass of the body. Okay, and the second one is spring. So probably these are moreover used in the mechanical systems. You can see, you know, bonnet of the car, you can open and check some of the parts. Mass, spring, and the third one is dashpot. Okay, dashpot is also one of the mechanical component which is used. Probably inside that dashpot, the structure will be something like a piston, something like this. ये शायद ये movable रहता है. Okay, so this is a dashpot structure. The practical dashpot, let me check in the Google, and let me send it to you in your group. So dashpot, it is one of the mechanical component which is moreover used in the systems. And in some of the textbooks, instead of dashpot, friction word is used, because whatever concept for dashpot uses, inside this the some viscous liquid will be used. Okay, because of the friction of that, this piston will be moving. So because of that, friction is the third parameter which is idealized for these translational systems. So remember, mass, spring, and friction or dashpot. Some terms are new to you, I know it. Please read these again and again so that you'll be familiar with these terms. If you're not understanding any word or any, you know, any concept, any small term, please Google it or please ask me, no problem. But be familiar with those terms, because if you are not familiar with these basics, these are actually the ABCs of control system. If you don't know this, you can't go further. Just like in signals and system, if you don't know how to how to do the operations on the signals, you cannot perform module 2, 3, 4, 5. So like that, in control systems, these are the basic things. Please remember, you need to be perfect with all these Very importantly, if you don't know these, you cannot solve the problems and you cannot proceed further. So there are three basic elements, three basic parameters in translational systems: mass, spring, and friction or dashpot. So let us see what is this mass. Okay. Mass indicated by m. Suppose you have a some body which is having mass capital M, okay, whose one end is fixed. Assume that this is a reference, it is grounded, so it is fixed. Only the other end, we don't know what it is, but one end is fixed. Okay. Now, if we apply a force on the other side, not this, on the other side, see, direction of force applied is F of t. Either you can take small f or capital F. So force applied is in this direction. So what about the body, whether it will be fixed there itself or whether it will move? One end is fixed. So what will happen? There is a kind of displacement. So small x indicates displacement. Okay, in physics, probably you might have studied the Newton's laws and all. So displacement and distance, they are relatable terms. There is a slight difference. You tell me what is the difference between a distance and the displacement. Hopefully you know about it. So there is a displacement of this body. I'm waiting so that you can put it in the chat box. What is the difference between distance and the displacement? Even the body gets displaced, it will change its position, okay, in the same direction. This is very important. जिस direction में force apply होगा उसी direction में displacement भी होगा. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि मैं force इधर apply कर रही हूँ and body इधर move होगी. No, it is not like that. Okay, initial and final point will be fixed for displacement position. Okay, what about the distance? Even there also you consider from one point to the other point distance. Shortest path covered by the body. Okay, what about the distance then? Okay, so with this, the first parameter we are discussing, that is mass. We have seen how a body is, getting applied with the force F of t, and the body is having the mass m. So we have mass m. There is a force applied in this direction. The other end of the body which we have considered is fixed, and the distance, the displacement takes place in the same direction. Okay, in the same direction, x of t. So mass, it is one element which will consider that will store the kinetic energy of the motion, right? It will be having kinetic energy. That's why the displacement took place. One end of the mass is always connected to the ground here. Okay, one end is fixed. The other end, on the other end, we are applying the force. There is a displacement of the body. Okay, in the figure you can see m is the mass whose one end is fixed. Force applied is f of t. You can take either small f or capital F, and we are applying the force at the other end. Now, due to which there is a displacement x of t. So how we can write this? When we apply any force on the body of mass m, that particular force is opposed by another force. There will be opposing force from the body. When we apply force, there will be another opposing force from the body, and this opposing force, this will be due to the acceleration of the body. That's what the Newton's law of motion says. From this, what we can write, I have forgotten here to write t, okay, at time instant, and this force which the body is a body is reacting to, okay, that opposing force I have denoted as f suffix m. This is the opposing force. But what force we have applied? It is F of T. It is opposing force. So this is the opposing force from the mass. Okay. So this is the opposing force from the mass. Okay. When we apply any force on mass m, it is opposed by another force, and this force, it is coming because of the mass m. When we apply any force on mass, it is opposed by, there will be one opposing force from the mass, and this opposing force is due to the acceleration of the mass. Okay, so this is nothing but your Newton's law of motion. So when we apply any force, there will be another opposing force from the mass, and this opposing force, it is due to the acceleration. So how we can write force? This m suffix indicates the opposing force. But what force we have applied? It is the F of T. It is not Fm. So F is different from Fm. F is the applied force, and Fm is the opposing force which is coming from the body, and it is directly proportional to the acceleration. And sorry, I have forgotten to write here T, because at time instant it is very important. So Fm of T, if I remove the proportionality constant, it is equal to A of T I have written as it is. This constant indicates proportionality constant, and this m I have taken proportionality constant capital M, because whatever acceleration is coming, it is due to the, whatever it is from the mass m. So proportionality constant I have taken capital M. Okay, so further how I can write this? It is equal to m into acceleration can be written in terms of the displacement, right? So d by dt square of x of t, or m into, in terms of velocity also, d by dt of v of t. And you know it already, sum of the forces is equal to whatever the forces that are getting applied on the body. So that from the Newton's law, whatever opposing force is there, it is equal to the force applied. Just the directions are different. They are equal. They are equal, but they are acting in the opposite directions. So I can equate Fm is equal to f of t. Okay, is equal to f of t, which is nothing but m into d by dt square of x of t. Yes, if I apply the concept of Laplace transform for this, just one example, okay? Probably now it is not required. When we solve the problems, this is required. So if I apply the Laplace transform, time domain will get converted to frequency domain. F you can write either small or f, capital F. F of s is equal to m I have written as it is. As there is a double differentiation here, s square gets multiplied, and whatever signal is there, it is in the s domain. X of t will become x of s. So this is one example how we can write the Laplace transform for this. This knowledge of this is very important. In the previous session, I have even shown you the slide of some Laplace transformation table, in which different Laplace transforms are listed for different signals. So this is about mass, first ideal element in the translational mechanical system. Let's see, let's go for the second one, that is a dashpot or the friction. I told you it looks something like this, a piston like structure. Here probably some viscous liquid will be filled, and viscous liquid, there will be a friction from it, because of which the piston moves. So this is the structure of dashpot or piston, or even in some textbooks they have used this word. Instead of dashpot, they have used damper. Okay, all these are same. So for this, if this is the structure, again, one end of this is fixed. This is a reference and the other end is free. Force what we apply on this particular body, it is in this direction, F of t, and B is, I said, dashpot or damper, it is because of the friction. Hence, this capital B indicates friction coefficient. Okay, and this indicates displacement, x of t. जिस डायरेक्शन में फोर्स अप्लाई होगा उसी डायरेक्शन में डिस्प्लेसमेंट रहेगा. That is dashpot. So dashpot or a damper, it is an element for the friction, as I told you, because the structure says some viscous liquid will be there. Okay, probably a specific type of friction is viscous friction. When there is a motion or some probability of the motion between two elements, you know what is a friction. Okay, when two bodies get rubbed, that is there the friction gets created. You know about this. So when there is a motion or about to have a motion between two elements, frictional forces do exist, and there are three different frictional forces that are used in the systems. One is Coulomb's frictional force. Second one is viscous frictional force, which is important for us. Actually, these three are not, two are not required for you, but just for your understanding, I'm telling you there are three different types, out of which for our damper or what is that, dashpot, viscous frictional force is used. Now, the element for viscous frictional is represented by the dashpot. So for our study, this is important, which I have given you with the arrow mark. This is important. Okay, what happens here? Let's see. When a force is applied on the dashpot, where one end is fixed. Okay, here on the other end, we are applying the force F of t. What will happen? There is a displacement takes place in the same direction. That displacement is given by x of t. Okay. When the force applied on the dashpot, due to the friction of the dashpot, there is an opposing force. So why this displacement occurs? In physics you have studied. So when we apply force on any body, an opposing force definitely gets acted upon in the opposite direction. So there is an opposing force. We symbolize it by this F subscript small b, okay, which exists due to the velocity. Because of this, what we will do earlier, just check out what is the difference. In earlier case, we have taken here whatever force, opposing force exists, it is due to the acceleration. Velocity. Okay, if I remove this proportionality constant, it is equal to V of t as it is. If I remove the proportion, this proportionality symbol, constant has to be added, and this is capital B, the same symbol we have used here in dashpot. Okay, why? Because frictional coefficient we have to consider. Okay, capital B indicates frictional coefficient, that too viscous frictional coefficient. So it is proportionality constant into velocity. And if I can write velocity in terms of distance, I can write. So B is equal to d by dt of x of t. And from the Newton's law of motion, whatever opposing force exists, it is equal to the force applied F, but they are in the opposite direction. So F is equal to, Fb is equal to 4b into d by dt of x of t. So this is important for us. Whatever I have put this in the red color box, this is the equation which is helpful while solving the problems. Similarly, please make a note of it. Whatever I have put here, the equation for force, in this red box. This is helpful for you for mass. So whenever a problem is given to you, whenever a mass comes in the picture, you have to make use of this box equation for mass. For dashpot or friction, whenever your circuit or any system has got a dashpot, you have to consider this square box equation for that dashpot. Now, as a note, suppose in the structure, just let me just show you this. This structure we have used to get the equation for force for dashpot. Suppose this reference is not there. Suppose consider one system wherein this piston or the dashpot is not supported with anything. End is not fixed. Both are moving, like both are free to move. Okay, both ends are free. If that is the case, what changes I have to make in the equation? This is your dashpot. Okay. If I apply force in this direction, okay, F of t, I have missed out that there. So please make sure here F of t, applied F of t has to be shown. If this is the case, so both ends are free here. I have to take two positions now. This end also moves and this end also moves. So moment is along the force direction only, x1 and x2. So x1 of t and x2 of f are the displacements which are moving. Okay, it indicates the displacement. Hence, what changes I have to make in this equation? Let me show you the comparative. This equation can be changed like this. So f is equal to fb is equal to, okay, fb of t is equal to b into, no doubt it is nothing but this is not v, sorry, it is x. Please make sure you change it. Okay, in hurry I have written v, it is not v, it is x. So dy by dt of x of t, this equation a little modified, b into d by dt of, here it was simply x of t, but here we have two positions, x1 and x2, you have to take the difference, displacement, x1 of t minus x2 of t divided by, d by dt of x1 minus x2. So this equation you have to use while solving the problems whenever you come across some dashpot whose both ends are free. Okay, when one end is free, you have to take this. If both ends are free, you have to consider this equation. Now let us come to the third element, that is a spring, which is most commonly used in the mechanical systems. So spring is symbolized like this. Don't consider this as your electrical L. Okay, we are now dealing with the mechanical systems, so consider this as a spring. So here we will be coming across what, some coefficients. I have written here K. Okay, spring coefficient K. K actually indicates the elasticity of the spring. Okay, so this is the structure of the spring. One end is fixed. Okay, reference indicating one end is fixed, the other end is moving. So if I apply a force on the spring F of t, what will happen here? Obviously there is a displacement, spring will move. And why? Because of the elasticity of the spring. Elasticity is nothing but ये जो आप खींचते हैं spring को, okay, that is the elasticity. Because of the elasticity, the spring will move x of t. Okay, the direction will be same. Okay, now the spring is an element which stores the potential energy. When we apply a force on the spring from this end, what will happen? Due to the elasticity of the spring, so opposite force will be there, and we denote that opposite force by F. K. K is indicating this constant or coefficient for spring, capital K, and it is proportional to the displacement. Remember all these three parameters. Important thing is this: for mass, when we came across the proportional value, we have considered acceleration. F is proportional to acceleration. When we took the dashpot, because of the friction, we have considered force is proportional to the velocity. and when we are now considering the spring, the force is proportional to the displacement. Remember, acceleration, velocity, and the displacement. So for spring, there is an opposite force acting and it is proportional to the displacement. So how I can write? Fk of t is proportional to the displacement x, or if you remove this proportionality sign, it is equal to some constant I have to add k, and this k is reflected here in the figure, capital K. That is the coefficient, spring coefficient, elasticity. So f of t is equal to, why it is f of t? Because whatever opposing force is there, it is equal to the applied force, but they are in opposite directions. That's why f and fk I have made it equal, which is equal to k into x of t. This box equation, it is useful when you solve the problems. Whenever in the given system, in a given structure, if you come across some spring with the k and one end fixed, you have to make use of this equation. But there is a note here, star, indicating, suppose you are having a system in which a spring has got both ends free, then what changes I have to make in the equation? See, there is a spring here, okay? So this is for this end, and this displacement is for the second end, x1 and x2. Instead of simple x, you have to take x1 and x2. If I apply a force f of t from on this end, what will happen? So this, compare these two equations. F is equal to Fk is equal to k into x of t. X of t, instead x of t, you can write x1 minus x2. This is a note when spring is having both its ends free. This is about the translational motion, when the motion is in linear. For system is having the motion in linears, in straight line. Okay, these three: mass, then friction, and then spring. Friction is also called as dashpot or damper element. Hope you understood these three. Whatever I have put in the square boxes, those equations are important. You will use them in problems. Any doubts you can ask me, please. And you need to tell me difference between distance and displacement.